And thank you for coming this early after forsaking your siesta in the afternoon. So today is also National Yoga Day. So we had a nice session in the main block on yoga today. And that just got over now. So today we continue with the second day on a map of the mind and its clinical benefits for mental health, okay, and happiness. So I request Geshe to do the second session. Start. Thank you.
Just for information, the day I arrived here, there was little, I had sore throat, and yesterday I double checked to a test, because that I'm to speak without a mask. And then the people, it is like deliberately coming here to spread it. So I checked it, what do you call it? The test, RT-PCR. Yeah, I did it, and the night, the result came negative. So glad that this case, otherwise I came all the way from Delhi to spread COVID. Yeah. Okay, and even this cold, I don't know whether it's from Delhi or from Goa. I'm not too sure. Yeah. Okay. Yesterday what we did was, by the way, those at the, can you hear me well? Can you hear me well? Those, you cannot hear me well. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me? Sound clear? Okay, if the sound is not clear, let me know. Not like this, because I have to move. Okay, Piala, sound is okay? Okay. By the way, Dr. Anitaji and Tenzi Piala, two of them, don't trust what they say because they're used to my accent. Yeah, the others should be more careful. If you don't hear, just raise your hand and let me know. Okay. So yesterday what we learned was that finally, number one, in this world, what is most important thing is your mind. Your mind. And whether the mind is brain or there is the transcendental phenomenon known as consciousness. Okay, keeping all this aside, the reality is that, say, whatever tradition that you're following, there's a little echo. The point is that everybody sends their children to school expecting that they learn something, that their mind should grow richer. And then once you become very confident with this, how to keep yourself calm and peaceful, and how to spread this calmness to others, then the next is, if you want to explore more than that, like what is what is transcendental, what is beyond the empirical reality. That's up to the individual. So here, particularly, I'm very particular in the university settings or in the education settings to maintain it always on the empirical level, meaning that something what you could feel, something which is relevant to our day-to-day life. That is very important. Okay, so the first one is the mind. And this is something that I've showed you some photographs yesterday about how people go through severe depression, severe loss of the hope, and so forth. It's all about the mental phenomena. And we have the mental hospitals, just for that purpose, psychiatrists for that purpose. So with this mind, it doesn't mean that there's a mind which is totally independent of the brain. This is not a connotation. The connotation is that the mind and brain, these are very closely connected, but still, to what extent they're connected is not known by neuroscientists. And neuroscientists, they would talk about the very gross nature of the mind on the basis of the workings of the brain. In other words, neural correlates. And whereas, for example, this book, which a copy I'm going to leave with the university library, this book is extremely important, just for information. This is, I think, 2009 or 2010. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the first he conceived of this book in his mind. Then the hours, His Holiness during one of the teachings, after completion of this teaching, he came to me, and then he told me about what is in his mind, and then in a way, like he assigned me with this responsibility of initially what to do, and then I drafted the whole chapters, all the chapters, the sub-themes, all these things, and then finally a small committee was formed, and with this committee we recruited 60 scholars, really refined scholars from the different monastic universities, and to extract the various sources on the mind, and also in the philosophy. And finally, all the materials gathered, they were further being formulated in the form of book by recruiting 4 refined scholars who not only are big scholars, but also who can write well. Then the books came into being, and these were being originally into Tibetan language and later translated into Tibetan. So at the moment, there are 2 versions. The first volume is on the philosophy, and the second one is on mind. So this second one, and I'm going to leave a copy with the library, university library, and the title says Science and Philosophy in the Indian Buddhist Classics, Volume 2, The Mind. It explains in great detail about the mind, and particularly I personally sense that, say, amongst the people, there's one group who's more into biology, then the medical, then philosophy, psychology. These people take interest in mind. And then the others from other disciplines, as they become a little older, age 30, 40, as they become older, then they also tend to, they come to realize what the world is, what their life is all about. And with this, they started to then learn about mind. So this is very important. And if you could remember, yesterday what I said is that how to manage this mind. So now, I'd like to quickly share with you how this mind is so important. And then when I say the mind, don't think that I'm talking about something like religious concept. It's about the empirical mind. You feel sad, you feel happy, or you feel, say, rewarded. You feel, for example, I came from Delhi, and in Goa, things are so green, clean, and even the dust, I wouldn't say there's no dust, but the weather is such, climatic condition is such, that even the dust is so less seen. These are something, and then I feel, and with the rain, being from Delhi, I crave for rain. And I see like 24 hours of rain here. 24 hours of rain here is so beautiful. I just enjoy sitting next to the window and just watching the rain falling. It's so beautiful. So there again is a mental experience. I'm enjoying it. And we all, once in a while, we go for holidays. For what? To make your mind happy. How many agree with me? Raise hands. How many agree with me that once in a while you go for a holiday to make your mind more relaxed? And who decides whether your mind is relaxed or not? You go to hospital, the doctor decides for you, or you know that? You know that. This is the meaning of the empirical reality. So when we speak about the mind, it's the issue with the empirical reality, not the esoteric. Let's not forget it. With this, let me share with you what the Buddha taught. And keep in mind that what the Buddha taught, Buddha never said that, Buddha never promised anything, that I'll help you, I'll save you. No. What the Buddha said is that you are the master of yourself. And yesterday we learned that everyone has the seed of perfection. Believe it or not, your mind, however defiled it is, the true nature of your mind is so pure. Whether male, female, it doesn't matter. And this is not what you have to believe in. This is reality that you can be convinced of. And finally, all these things, only when you're convinced, things will work. If you're not convinced, then it'll all remain just like stories and folk tales. So, with this in mind, let us listen to what the Buddha said. So, since yesterday I quoted that the concept of the perfection of the seed that exists within each one of us. Today, because that seed is with you, nobody can come to remove this seed, unfold this seed for you. So the Buddha said, you are the master of yourself. He did not promise that, okay, under this time, you take my blessing and the seed of perfection will be revealed. No, he said that you are the master of yourself. And how many you agree with? As long as you are competent, you succeed, you have many friends. If you're not competent, generally speaking, your mother and your dad, these two are your friends, not others. How many agree with me? Raise hands. If you're competent, you have millions of followers. If you're somebody, if you're not somebody, you hardly have your dad and moments of fans, not anyone else. So this is the meaning. The Buddha said, you are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is wise and will be freed. Let me repeat it. You are the master of yourself. Who else is there as your master? The one who tames one's mind is wise and will be liberated. Liberated meaning you'll be freed from all anxiety, stress, anguish, and so forth. Okay. Again, always keep in mind that even this, I quote Buddha, not because that I want his support. Not that I want his support. I'm quoting Buddha so that each one of us, whatever thoughts, reflections, questions come to our mind, just bring them up. And as I said earlier, yesterday, it's not that I'm the one who to give all answers. No, I'm here to learn from you. You come up with the questions, and if there's something very thought-provoking questions, I still have my teachers in South India, so the Dr. Anandaji knows. I still have my teachers there, and when I get some very good questions, I ask this to my teacher, and my teacher would give the response. Yeah. Okay. Keep them aside. So you are the master of yourself. So this seed of perfection which exists within us. What is that? The river? River. The dirty river. Swari River. Swari River. Mandevi River. Yeah, so today the driver told me that, in fact, I don't know, he must have heard it from yesterday's talk. On the way, he said that beyond that is Swari River. And he said, and then he's even in more detail. Say, yesterday when we came from the airport, said, we crossed Swari River, he said. And he said that both the rivers, they join and they I don't know what they joined. They said that both ended up, Mandavi River. Arabian Sea, he said. Yeah, so he was so particular. He wanted me to learn all these things. Yeah, okay. So what I'm saying is that from yesterday what we learned is that Swari River, however dirty the water is, you just remove the dirt. And gentleman yesterday said that the intrinsic nature of this water is very clean. Any water, however dirty the water is, intrinsic nature of the water is so clean. Likewise, our mind, whether you're male or female, whether you're educated or uneducated, it doesn't matter. Somebody who's the most ruthless person in the world, even that person's mind is so, true nature is so pure. The mind is not pure. We need to make this distinction. The mind is not pure, the true nature of the mind is so pure. So when the distinction is like the Swari River, don't say it's clean. Sometimes we should be very realistic. We should be very practical, realistic. This is what I oftentimes encourage people. Say, oftentimes some people, when they start to join Tibet House courses, they learn about compassion, they learn about all these good qualities, then they tend to just go to other extreme. Oh, everything is nice, everybody's good. I said, don't say that. Don't be naive. What is good is good, what is bad is bad. You have to know that so well. Simply because you are saying something is bad does not mean that you should be nasty. You should be unkind. You have to know these things well, then accordingly, where there's good, appreciate it. Where there's bad, you sympathize. You see how to solve these problems. That is so important. In other words, be realistic, don't be naive. And what we are doing particularly, so what you do, finally what you do is entirely up to your hand, entirely up to you. But the 5-day lecture here, so we try to be as realistic, as empirical. Let us not be following a blind faith. Okay, this is the basic principle. So, you are the master of yourself. Oh, this is huge responsibility given. And the Buddha said that in Tibetan, Tunnan Dibba Chui Mitrishin, which means the enlightened ones do not wash your negativities with ablution. Nor the enlightened ones remove your physical pains like remove the thorns from your body. Nor does the enlightened one transfer his spiritual realizations to you, that you become awakened and you become freed of all the miseries. It's not possible. It is through teaching the suchness, through teaching the reality, that the beings are liberated. Meaning that finally all our problems are rooted to the ignorance. So this is what we're going to discuss today. You are the master of yourself. And we all have some understanding of this to some extent. All of us, we have some understanding that when you are successful, then everybody's there to help you there. When you go through difficult times, except for your dad, mom, very difficult. People coming to you. Even the girlfriends, boyfriends, they also drop you. They leave you. They run away. Right? Not all, but this is what happens in the world. It's very true. From my experience, and your experience as well, we see that in this life, we have to prove that we are somebody. If you could not prove somebody, everybody will just trash you, right? And at the same time, let's not forget that now look, the whole responsibility is put on my shoulder. But I'm so incompetent. No, Don't underestimate your potential. Don't underestimate potential, but don't overestimate your potential. Be very realistic. So what you can do it, and from there we grow. So for this, the first thing that we need to do here is that you are the master of yourself. What does it mean by that? You have the responsibility. So there's English expression. One man can take the horse to the river. Anybody who can complete this? 20 men cannot make it drink. Finally, you have to walk the path, right? So what the Buddha taught is not just an enlightened being, somebody giving you some blessings. No, this is common sense, which I think this expression existed way before the Buddha was born. One man can take the horse to the river, but 20 men cannot make it drink. Finally, you should drink it. You should drink. You should be the master of yourself. And yet everybody, of course, if somebody is psychotic, I cannot say that, no, you should be the master of yourself. I cannot say that till that illness is gone. And then the sanity is required for one to prove that you are the master of yourself. Okay. Okay, so how can I be the master of myself? How to help myself? This question. So for this, okay, if you don't mind, stretch your two hands out to make you a little. I'm sure it's right after your lunch. Okay, stretch your two hands. Okay, what happened? Sound of a clap erupted. Okay, so now one hand out. Don't slap somebody else. Okay, this is where there's no sound. This is a very simple exercise. Yet, if you think carefully, it's a big message there. The sound of the clap is a metaphor for all the stress, mental stress. Then anxiety. When this mental stress, when it gets intensified, it becomes anxiety. When it becomes chronic, it becomes depression. So the sound of a clap is the metaphor for all these forms of stress, mental stress. And yesterday I said, Infosys Pune, I was so impressed that unknown person was coming to speak on to how to solve the mental problems. And all the young boys and girls, hundreds, more than 500 of them, just within a short notice, they just turned up because they know what is mental stress. Believe it or not, in the environment, they were moving like robots. There's no, say, the feeling of ease on the face. I could see it. They're all just running here and there with so much of stress. They know what is stress. They know what is mental problem. Okay, so with this sound of the clap is a metaphor for this problem, for all the problems. Now, but one thing we did notice between the two things, the difference that we noticed between two things, anyone could tell me, what difference did you notice between these two things? The first one with two hands, and then the sound erupted with a second, and there's no sound. Okay, what difference did you notice? Anybody? Raise your hand. Yes? Okay, don't keep aside chakra for the time being. Okay, just the empirical reality. Two hands put together, then the sound came. With a single hand, there's no sound. Thank you. So, this is a point. As I said earlier, the sound of the clap is the metaphor for all our mental unease, mental problems. And these mental problems, they should necessarily come into being by the combination of the two hands coming together. Two hands. What are the two hands? The two factors, external factors and the internal factors. I'm sure the Goans, do you complain of the rain, too much rain? Yes? Okay. Which means I'll invite you to Delhi. Right? Then you'll crave for rains. Okay, so rain is a problem. Rain is a problem. Right? We blame the rain. So likewise, in our life, I'm sure if I ask you the question, as what's the problem in your life? Just tell me, share with us some of your problems, right? Okay, let's quickly raise your hands if you'd like to share some of your problems. Say any problem that something which is really disturbing, something which was disturbing to you. Okay, here. So your problem was because the schedule was 7 days a week.
Some other issues are there. I think my guide has a different approach, and I'm trying to do whatever I can.
Now, what do you think is the cause of the problem? The guide, 7 days, 7 days a week.
No, that is not a problem, sir.
Then.
Now it is my responsibility to be. It is my responsibility. So I'm not running up to my responsibility. But
No, let us be very honest, right? Let's be very honest. Within this hall, feel free to speak your mind, right? You want to blame your boss? Blame your boss. Don't worry. I promise not to share with them.
First came on the first day. My guide asked me not to come and meet him just because he was like, you have taken your admission in PhD. It is on you. You have to do everything on your own.
Oh.
So I have tried everything. For first year, I have created a model which is on the spirituality only, like birthplace spirituality, its morality, which leads to sustainability. And sustainability is an aspect of which came from spirituality. So spirituality is multifaceted. So basically, it is not a concrete concept, So
Okay, now,
1.5 years down the line,
what's your name?
Chetan Bagadi.
Chetanji, just tell me, let us be very precise. What's the problem?
Now only I got the mail that there is a high chance that
Okay, don't worry, just calm down. Yes, we could see that, and you have been very honest. Yeah. Thank you for sharing with us. And there's always a way out, don't worry. There is a way out. You are young, there's a way out. Okay. Anyone else? Raise hands. Wait, nobody wants to share your problems. Okay, if you don't want to share, it's fine, don't worry. Is anybody? Raise hands. Okay, yes, the girl there.
I don't speak to my brother anymore.
Okay, why?
Cause of the problem would be greed and money issues.
The greed of your brother? Yes. Okay, the very bad brother. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Anyone else? Very quick. Okay. You know to share with us, just tell me how many you really had problems in your life, severe problems in your life. Raise your hands. Had. You don't share with us, just raise your hand that, yes, I did have problem, I still have problem, raise your hands. Okay. So this is reality. Now the point is that the point is that we are here to just first identify where the problem is coming and how to deal with these problems. And then yesterday there was one girl, I think from the university, there's one girl who came to me personally and asked a question, and I said that this question is a very serious question, you must ask in class. And seems like she's not here. Okay, so if you have questions, I would highly recommend you ask this in the class, this will be very helpful. Okay, so they coming together with the two hands. Two hands. Say, one is the external factors, like the brother, or the boss, or the Goa rain, or the Delhi people coming to Goa. Savita, right? Delhi people coming to Goa, and so forth. Okay, so the external factors are there, number one. Number two, internal factors are there. Two hands. Only when the two hands come together, then the sound of the miseries erupt. Where there's only one hand, no sound. Sound of the misery stops. Finally, what the Ketan, right? Your name? Chetan. Or Chetan, all of us, the problems that we have, finally what we want is that our problems subside, the mental agitation subsides. This is what we are expecting. How many agree with me, in a sense? Yes. Okay. So with this, the problem is, the thing is that, okay, I have the problem, and this problem should necessarily be due to two factors, external factors and the internal factors, right? And okay, let's see that one early morning, I received a phone call from one lady who had been studying with me for the Tibetas for many years. Oh, by the way, the Elroy, can you hear me well? Okay. And it was like 6 a.m., believe it or not. And she said, Geshe, I'm going to quit Buddhism. I said, okay, it's fine, you can quit, no issues. And I said, okay. Then she said, she's very assertive. I'm very serious, I'm going to quit Buddhism. It's fine. Then because she's assertive, then I tend to become more, say, courageous to ask the question. If you don't mind, what could be the reason? And she said that for all these 3 years, I prayed to Buddha, that my problem should come down. What kind of a prayer did you say to Buddha? And she said that my brother's not getting a job. I prayed to Buddha, please give a job to my brother. And after 3 years, still he's jobless. Then I told her that, okay, now at least I know why you want to quit Buddhism. I told her that if you're hungry, don't pray to Buddha. Go to kitchen. If you're sick, if you're COVID positive, don't pray to Buddha. Stay home, social distancing, wash hands well, then take all the precautions and take the vaccines on time. That's very important. Go to hospital, in other words. So the point is that, the point is that we need to know. Don't expect somebody to do everything for you. Don't expect that. The reality is not like that. Don't live in the world of illusion. So the point is that finally, in this world, chronologically speaking, we see that Abraham came, I don't know how many years ago, then the Lord Krishna, Ram, all these great enlightened beings came, I don't know how many years. Then Lord Mahavir came 2,500 years, about 40 or 60 years before the Buddha Shakyamuni came. And then Buddha Shakyamuni came, then the Prophet Muhammad came. No, Jesus Christ came, Lord Jesus Christ came, then Prophet Muhammad, then the Guru Nanak, and then Zoroaster came, and likewise the Maula came, Barb came. But the world is still complicated. All these great enlightened teachers came. They could not solve all the problems. Still there's a problem there. In fact, they came and their students, their disciples, they create more problem. They started to create isms. And in the name of isms, how many people are killed? We all know that. So the point is that finally, let's not forget, finally, the world is one thing. We can help the world. Before we help the world, help yourself. This is so important. Before we help the world, you should help yourself. You are the master of yourself. So for that, we need to know this example of the two hands coming together and the sound of the music is erupt. So what we do is that, tell me that the Chetan has been very honest, and the girl over there very honest, and all of us we have our own problems. And believe it or not, our problems, usually they are turned towards external factors. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Because of this, that, so forth, hardly we will point to ourselves. But some people, they go to the extreme, saying that everything is my problem. Everything is my problem. And then they don't do anything, because deep inside they don't acknowledge that reality. It's just a superficial claim. Okay, so now we should be very realistic. It doesn't mean that external factors are not there. External factors are there. But for you to feel the pain, there should be two factors coming together to create this pain within you. Let's not forget it. There should be two factors. With this in mind, we should be very careful with external factors. But how many such external factors are there which can potentially create problem on you? Anyone raise hands? Very quick. Just, yeah? Huh? Infinite. 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 So one may be American, one is British, I don't know. Okay, so there's infinite factors are there. Say for example, if Dr. Savidaji takes all of you to Delhi for, Delhi for any program, and Dr. Savidaji gives you, put two of you in pairs, in rooms, and you will say, what's your problem? You say that, madam, I have no privacy. And a man will, oh, I'm very sorry, I'll put you in a separate room. You will say, I'm lonely. This is the problem with almost everyone. There's no choice. Either you should be with somebody or you should be by yourself. You're by yourself, there's a problem. I'm lonely. Why nobody's talking to me? You're with somebody else, I have no privacy. This is the problem. So with external world, there's no true choice. There's no third choice. Either you should be with somebody or you should be by yourself. There's no third choice. And yet in both cases, there's a problem. So what can the Buddha do? What can Lord Jesus Christ do? What can Ram do? Prophet Muhammad do? Baha'u'llah do? What can these enlightened beings do? They cannot make a situation where both are removed. Right? You have to be by yourself or with somebody else. Okay, so now from this, just reflect on this. That yesterday I said telegraph writing. Telegraph writing. Now for young ones, for example, like, okay, there are some of you, so you have not heard about telegraph writing, some of you. During my time, if you don't know that, your English, your grade will just go down if you don't know how to write it. With the economy words, you have to express the concept so well. So these are the skills we are taught. So in other words, what I'm saying is that what we are learning should be relevant to our day-to-day life. So that we should be able to connect it. And nobody will help you to connect. It is you who should connect these two things. What you learn, what you experience in your life. So with this, the point is that we talked about external factors, internal factors. How many of you are, say, convinced, like 60% and above? Yes, my problems, there are always two factors, external factors, internal factors. 60% I can agree, raise hands. 60% or more, I agree, raise hands. Very good. Okay, this is how we have to internalize that what we learn, you see it, and only when you're convinced, then you can get rid of these problems. What you do will be of tremendous effect to make you transformed. Okay. Now, say, we talk about, say, the noble beings and the ordinary mundane world. How we distinguish? Today I'll give you one the secret. Somebody who blames external factors all the time, these are the ordinary worldly beings. Somebody who points to internal factors for one's problem, these are the evolved beings. Let's not forget it. Those who point to always, this is a problem, the Saveri water is a problem. Delhi people are problem, right? Or let's say whatever, right? Your family, my mother's a problem. The children, when they become age 16, 17, mother's a problem. This is all, the mother's a problem, right? Age 16, 17, the mother calls you, where are you, Beta? Where are you, Betty? Then there's a problem, right? So all these problems, which is somewhere we identify external factors. This is what is identified as the ordinary beings or the mundane world. Whereas those people who wholeheartedly, not just in a naive way, wholeheartedly realizes that my thinking, I have to fix my thinking. If I could fix this thinking, I'm at peace, I'm happy. Every situation is a garden for me. That's very possible. There's one great Tibetan master whose story is very interesting. I would encourage you, all of you, you must read this biography. It's a very interesting. How he, like the first part of his life, extremely difficult. It's a very, what do you call it? It's like it's a very dramatic. The first part of life, extremely difficult, and he went into the practice, the learning the black magic, succeeded in that, and then got into trouble, then finally followed the spiritual path. His name is Geshe Milarepa, yes. You must read this book. It's very interesting, and it's full of fun, and there are so many messages in your life, and he will tell us how to be strong in your life. He will teach us. Geshe Milarepa. Geshe Milarepa? Yeah. Okay, see if I can write it here. I don't know how to do it. Yeah, no. Okay, it's fine. Jetsun, Jetsun, Jetsun Milarepa, M-I, or you can just write it Milarepa, M-I-L-A-R-E-P-A, Milarepa. You must read it. You will see a very different world. Somebody who has seen the world, real world, and how he overcame all these problems by identifying the internal. Okay, Nadesh, can you just show this? How can we go to the?
So just click this one.
No, I'm not going through these. I just want to have a new page.
New page, okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. So I will just write somewhere here. Okay. I'll just write here his name. Oh. It hangs? Okay. Okay, good. I'm going to write it here. Okay, this is the name of the. He's a great saint, and not a saint as born as a saint. Okay, good. Oops. Geshe Milarepa. Okay, good. Now, so with this, what I said is that we have say our problems. We see that there are two factors: external factors, internal factors. Okay. Now, if I ask you the question, what are you good at pointing to external factors or internal factors? Which of the two are you good at? If this is my question. Okay, be very honest, don't feel shy. And if you think that I'm good at pointing to the internal factors, just raise hands, raise hands. External factors, raise hands. Okay, good. So what we do is that we will do a quick exercise. We'll do a quick exercise and, okay, we'll do a quick exercise and then are you ready? How many of you are from mathematics? Raise hands. Mathematics, background in mathematics. Okay, one lady there, two ladies here. Okay, how many of you know basic mathematics? 2 plus 3? Okay, I promise I'll keep it very small numbers, small digits, not big numbers. And it's also plus minus, only plus minus. Can you do that? Can you do that? Raise hands. Okay, if you think you can do it, now let's do it. I'll give you the calculation and you do it mentally, and tell me the answer only when I ask you what is the answer. Till that point, keep it to yourself. Ready? Okay. Don't put it on your paper, right? Do it mentally. It's very simple numbers. Okay, 2 plus 3. Don't say anything. Just do it mentally. There's a series of numbers. Okay, let's begin. Fresh. 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 minus 2 plus 3 plus 2 minus 1. What's the answer? 13. That's amazing. Thank you. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again. So here are the, again, don't panic. It's going to be very small numbers and also plus minus, only plus minus. Ready? Okay, be very serious. Sit upright. Okay, good. Ready? 2 plus 3 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 1 plus 3. What's the answer? No? Okay, my question to you. Why did you succeed in the first attempt so well? You all succeeded. And in the second attempt, nobody succeeded. Okay, just raise your hand to give the answer. Anybody? Quick. Yes. Because I said it too fast. How many agree with Dr. Savitiji? Raise hands. Because I said it too fast. In the first case, I said it very slow. In the second case, I said it very fast. Raise hands. Therefore, I can do the calculation on time. Raise hands. Okay, don't feel shy. Raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Okay. Look, the reality is that I said it fast. Yes, this is external factor. Your mind works very slow. And you did not say that my mind works slow. You're getting it? Both are equally responsible. It's not only that I said fast. This is not only the factor which made you not succeed in doing the calculation. It's both ways. But this is how mind is directed towards blaming outside. Of the two hands, blaming outside. And don't feel shy that, oh no, yes, that's very true. He identified my mistake. I'm so a bad person, always blaming outside. You can blame outside. You can blame inside. You can blame anything. The purpose is that your problem should become zero. By blaming outside, if your problems become zero, that is your path. That is your journey. Yet, how many such external factors are there to create problem on you? Infinite number of external factors are there. Why the people who are directed towards pointing outside for the mistakes, for the problems, they are referred to as the mundane, ordinary, is because that they are doing something which is unrealistic, which cannot accomplish the goals. Because they point external factors, you can never stop the external factors altogether because of the number, the infinity of the number. Because of that, number one. Number two, even the conducive factors, when your mind goes wrong, you can see that as non-conducive factors. For example, you're by yourself, you feel lonely. When you're other people, you feel lack of privacy. So this is the problem. Now the problem is that, yes, finally, how many agree with me? That, okay, you can do anything to me, and finally all my stress, my problems should become zero, right? Okay, how many of you would go to that extent? If there is a system, if there is a medication, or if there is some system, or yoga or whatever, some magic, jadoo, whatever, do that, and all your misery, stress, anxiety becomes zero. You are forever very peaceful, calm throughout your life. If there is such a system, I would be happy to go for it. Makes sense? Okay. Is there such a system there? You will say no. Answer is yes, because you are looking outside. It's within you. It's within you. How is it within you? How is it within you? Okay. So we say that there are external factors and the internal factors. If you keep looking outside for external factors, you will never find. So a person in ocean dying of thirst. You are in the ocean, yet you die of thirst. You are in a sweet lake, you are dying of thirst because you are looking for water somewhere else. Okay, so now, how to solve this problem? So for this, we come to know that all my problems, they arise from the two factors, external factors, internal factors, and hardly I ever think of the internal factors. Now, if there is a way by which we can I can identify the internal factors, remove this internal factor, then only one hand, no sound. Sound of the misery stops. And we all said that the sound of misery will never stop. There's no system which can create it. Yes, there is a system. For the time being, let's work on this. Let us just speculate that internal factor which we never explored, if there is something which we can do to stop it, then only external factors are left. No sound. The sound of the misery stops. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So therefore, I told the Chetan that don't worry, you are young. Your problems will be over. Why I'm saying this with so much confidence? Not because I know Chetan for the last, maybe he must be 20 years, 22, 23, right? Not because I know him for all these many years. Simply because of this confidence. One, that he has a seed of perfection within. Number two, that if he can understand this concept so well, external factors, internal factors, and you can stop the internal factors, your sound of the misery stops, your tension stops. This is so beautiful. Your life there's going to be a stark contrast in your life. Your life is going to be very beautiful, and your family members will be so happy. Particularly, I'm sure you love your mother so much. Your mother will be so happy to see a transformation in you, that you're happy. Not that the bad boy has become good. No, because my boy has become very happy now. Okay, this is so important. So with this in mind, what would be a next question? So what I said is that there's a possibility there. I'm not saying yes, it's 100%. I'm not going to that extent as of now, as of yet. What I'm saying is that, yes, that's why we only think about external factors of the two hands. Why not we think about the internal factors? And the answer is, yes, the problem can be made zero. There's a system there. So what would be a next question? Anyone? Raise hands. Raise hands. What would be a next question? Dr. Anita, you expert in this. Okay, anybody else? Raise hands. Don't feel shy. Yes.
What is that? What is that system?
Yes. What is that system? Chetan?
It's like when you are associated with so many things, as in when you are, a mom has left so many things. I think one or the other way is on a path, but in the life that we are living in, we are associated with so many other things, which tries to create problems for us. Even though we are meditating, even though we are going on the right path, even though we are.
Okay, Chetan, let us be very precise. So what I said is that, yes, there is a way out. I do not say you become a monk. I do not say this, right? I just said that there's a way out. So I'm taking all of us very systematically. The first one step I said is that we all have the seed of perfection with the analogy of the what? What river? Swere river. Swari river. Okay. Then next point is that these problems, they arise from two factors. And external factor, we have been so expert in looking for external factors. And we never explore the internal factors. And of the two hands, remove one hand. If you succeed in remove one hand, you don't have to remove both hands. One hand is impossible to remove. External factors. If all these enlightened beings came and they cannot remove the external factors. In fact, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he's very practical, very realistic. Once he was invited by the Chief Minister of Bihar. And the Chief Minister, in his talk, he said that with the blessings of the Buddha, the place where the Buddha became enlightened. With the blessings of the Buddha, we pray that Bihar will flourish. Then next was His Holiness's address. And His Holiness said that Buddha's blessing was existent since 2,500 years ago. Buddha's blessings must become a reality through the hands of the Chief Minister. He did not say that, yes, Buddha will bless us. No, be very realistic. You are the Chief Minister, you can change Bihar. So Buddha's blessings will come to effect through the hands of the Chief Minister. So don't just blame the Buddha, do it yourself. This is what the Buddha is always saying. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that of the two hands, one external factor is impossible. Buddha came in today, look at Bihar. I'm not denigrating Bihar, but it's very real, a reality. So in fact, they say look, there are so many developments happening, but in the overall speaking, still there's so much dance. You go there, the place where the Buddha became enlightened, so holy place, but the things around messy. Buddha could not even clean Bihar. Buddha appeared. He couldn't clean Bihar. Don't expect that these enlightened beings to do something for us like this. So the Buddha said, you are the master of yourself. He didn't say, I'm the master, I will help you. He didn't say this. Okay, so with this, he said that by teaching you the path, by teaching you the reality, you can master yourself. So what is that? I said that of the two hands, one hand is impossible. External factors, impossible that you can get rid of all. So, but I said, yes, the system is there, where all your miseries will become zero. So, what would be your next question to me? So, the girl there asked me, what is that system? And somebody may ask me, what is that internal factor? We need to explore the internal factor. What is the internal factor? And how to get rid of this? What is the internal factor? How to get rid of this? Two things. Two things summarized in the girl's question. What is that system? Which system? System to identify the internal factors and a system to remove this internal factor so that you are left with only external factors, no sound. Sound of your misery is done. Okay. So for this, what are the internal factors? So, internal factors, we see that there are two internal factors, not infinite internal factors, only two internal factors. One is the ignorance, failing to see the interdependent nature of the phenomena. The ignorance, failing to see the interdependent nature of the phenomena, number one. Number two is self-centered attitude, selfishness, self-centered attitude. These are two internal factors. Okay. Now, I'm going to make two big statements. Perhaps you'll be very happy. One is that how many of you truly want to get away from all these mental stress, anxiety, fear, and so forth? Raise hands. Be very honest. Okay, all of you. Number 2, they say the Goan people, you celebrate the Christmas? Yes. Okay, particularly what was Christmas like to you when you were very young, age 6, 7, 8? You want to have it 2 days? You want to have it for 3 days? If 3 days, then 4 days, right? Because you enjoy it. Okay, tell me, how many of you truly feel that the joy that you want, that you get sometimes, if that be expanded as much as possible? Raise hands. In other words, to have the expansive happiness. Raise hands. Be very honest. Okay. If my question is it possible? Again, you will say that no. You will say no. Okay, so let us see whether it's possible, right? Whether it's possible. And for one time, I was invited to be the chairperson to a talk presented by, I think, Padma Vibhushan scholar, author of many books, and he gave a talk for 1 hour. And his talk was concluded by saying that you can be the most happy if you have communion with the ultimate reality. His talk concluded with this: you'll be most happy, your happiness will be consummate if you meet with the ultimate reality, if you have communion with the ultimate reality. And then he did not teach us how to have the communion with ultimate reality. He did not teach us. Then in my next talk, not in my comment as the chairperson, I said, your second book should be on how to meet with the ultimate reality, how to have the communion with ultimate reality. People talk like this, Oh, you have to experience that. You should be good. You should be good. They don't teach you how to be good. That is where we should be very realistic, and we should have the gut to ask the correct answer. We should have the skill to articulate your questions. Articulate your questions and hit the point. This is so important. With this in mind, what I said is that I'm going to make 2 huge statements. And feel free to, just first you can feel the ecstasy of that. And also you can feel free to ask me questions. First statement that I would like to make is that you will be most fearless. You'll be absolutely fearless if you know the reality in its complete form. I'm making a statement. I'm not proving it. I'm not proving it yet. I'm just making a statement. And everybody wants to be fearless. Nobody wants to be in the state of fear. And you can experience fearlessness. And when will you experience the fearlessness? Is when you see the ultimate reality in the closest form. That is the time you become the most fearless person. This is one statement that I'm making. And we have to explore. And still we have another 3 days. And hopefully one day we'll dedicate on how to become fearless. Number 2, we all want to expand the circle of happiness. Meaning that you want to expand your happiness. One day, for example, if you are celebrating Diwali, one day Diwali, if there's possible for 2 days, you want to go for 2 days. And push to 3 days, like Christmas. Oh, today we'll have 2 days Christmas. You'll be very happy. And then you will ask for 3 days. So you want to expand your happiness. So, this is human nature. Wanting to have tell me, what degree of happiness do you want then? If 2 days holiday, then you look for 3 days. What degree of happiness do you want? Tell me. 10%? 20%? 30%? Tell me. What degree of happiness do you want? Raise hands. Quick. Just speak your mind. 100%. 100%. If possible, 100%. Always say if possible. Why you are saying impossible is because that we don't know whether it's doable. Right? If possible, 100% happiness. Good. Okay. So what is the secret of that? Get rid of the selfishness. Get rid of the selfishness and you will have 100% happiness. In other words, the other cherishing mind, the altruistic other cherishing mind is the most beautiful mind in this universe. And the wisdom to see the interdependency, that's the most fearless mind. What more do you want than these two things? The most fearless mind and the most expansively happy mind. What more do you want than these two things in the world? Okay, day one you are born. How many you are born crying? Raise hands. How many you are born with crying? You have no clue. No clue? You have no clue. How many you're born? Day one you're born, you cried. Raise hands. Why did you? Okay. So most of you, no, that day one I was born, I have no clue, right? There's no memory. But although you may not have memory, there's inference there. Inference is that if you did not cry, somebody will slap you to make you cry, because for proper breathing. You're getting it? To save you, somebody will slap you. Okay, when you cry, you do not appreciate that person who slapped you. Right? Why did you cry? Okay, did you cry that, oh, the other baby born, the newborn was, feeling cold, or the other baby is, hungry? Did you cry like this? Or you cry because I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm feeling cold, somebody slapped me? Because I. This is how you began our day. All of us, we began our day with this selfishness. We did not think about others. But don't feel shy. Don't feel embarrassed that, wow, that's true. This is how I began my life. Day when I was born, I cried. And cried because I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm feeling cold. Somebody, whether you are aware that somebody slapped, but something, a very uneasy feeling came. Because of that you cried. That is selfish. There's selfishness there. But don't feel embarrassed that, oh, I'm very selfish. Day one, this is how I was born. No. We have to acknowledge who you are. Acknowledge your limitations, your strengths, your hidden treasures. You have to acknowledge all these things and then see how to remove the mental defilements, remove the selfishness, and how to proliferate your good qualities, such as wisdom, to see the interdependency, to make yourself the most fearless person, and to experience to have the unconditional love towards other beings, where you feel the most happy. In other words, the wisdom to see the interdependency in its most subtle form, that is the most fearless mind in the world. And the altruistic mind, the altruistic compassion, to embrace all the beings, that is the most beautiful mind in this world. This wisdom is not beautiful mind, it's courageous mind, it's a fearless mind. This beautiful mind, this altruistic universal love, this is not fearless, but this is the most beautiful mind. Anyone who can feel this, you just feel like crying out of joy. This is extremely beautiful mind, which embraces everyone with love and affection. Is that possible? This is my question. Okay, so there are several homeworks for us. And I would say that instead of me unilaterally just telling A, B, C, D, E, F, I may just give the gist of these points, and you, with your own life experience, with your own life, the learning, should you have questions, feel free to bring them up. That'll be very helpful. Okay, so with this mind, what we said is that the internal factors, there are two. One is the ignorance which fails to see the interdependent reality of the world, of the universe. And the other one is the self-centered attitude. The more the self-centered attitude you, for example, let me give you some examples. Let's say that because this is a university set up, let me say that if you are a physics professor, and if you are an average, a mediocre, not top ranking like Nobel laureate, just say you are a mediocre physics professor, and suddenly your vice chancellor calls you in his office and tells you that, okay, in 1 week's time, the Goa University is assigned by the Indian government to host a lecture on physics to 1,000 PhD students in physics from all over the world. Top students, PhD students are coming from all over the world, and you have to give a lecture on quantum mechanics. Okay, how excited would you be? Anyone? Guess? Very excited? Or? Huh? Self? Very scared. Okay, very scared, nervous, resents. Nervous, you are the average professor, not a top-ranking professor, right? Resents? Nervous, scared. Okay, no. Why are you nervous? Why are you scared? Why? Because they are the future Nobel laureates coming, right? In these PhD students, among them, they are the future Nobel laureates in physics, right? Okay, top-ranking, brilliant giants are coming. They can ask you very different questions. So there's a fear in you. Now, imagine that then your next door neighbor is Albert Einstein. Then you go there, knock at the door. Please, sir, this is the assignment that I'm giving. Please take the responsibility to do that. Then do you think he is nervous? No. He will take the charge. He will take this assignment very easily. He may put his feet on the table. This is his time, usually. Feet on the table. And then just give the lecture, right? Okay, there's no fear there. Why? Because his knowledge is so good. When the knowledge is so good, the fear dissolves. And the best of the knowledge, the very refined knowledge, if you have it, you become totally fearless. Number one. So the wisdom to see the interdependency in its more subtle form, that is the wisdom to get rid of all the fears of a life. Number one. Number two, okay, tell me, one moment in your life, so how many of you had at least one moment in your life, out of, say, some of you must be in your 20s, the Chetan, right? Huh? 26, the girl over there? Yes. 28. 23, just 23. Okay, let's see, 23. Anybody who's younger than 23? Yes, over there. 19. Okay, yes, here. 18. Okay, so we have, say, the youngest seems like 18. Okay, let's say all these last 18 years, and some of us 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So we all have our own life experience. At least in your life, just raise your hands, those who had the experience. At least one moment, one day, one moment of acutely, genuinely peaceful state of mind. Very, very happy moment, at least one time in your life. Raise hands. Okay. Is there anybody who likes to share that experience? Raise hands. Yes. No, the girl there, the brother issue. The girl with the brother issue, yes. You raise hand?
Eating my last meal before leaving from Bombay to come to Goa with my cobbler.
With your?
Cobbler.
Cobbler. Why?
Because she's somebody, and it's a female cobbler, which is also unusual. Usually a male cobbler, but she's been my cobbler since I was a kid.
Oh.
My last meal with her.
Oh.
That was a really happy, peaceful time with her. I got to spend 2 hours talking to her. So that was a very peaceful time.
Okay. Wonderful. That's amazing. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Chetan?
I think the most beautiful moment which I had happened in Goa on 10th of May 2022. Actually, I lost my consciousness guidance, as in I don't know which is me, which is not me, just because I started from Vipassana.
Hmm.
So in COVID time, I went into too much deeper. There was time when I started for like not speaking for days, and then I started getting to know myself more and more, more and more. And there was a time when I could look at the pain and don't feel the pain. As in, nothing is hurting me, and I feel the kind of bliss that is written over there.
Wonderful.
And I've written more than 200 poetries, and I'm writing. Even today, I've written something on Bindu, which is the point.
Wonderful.
When
Wonderful.
Dorji.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Experience of this bliss with your meditation of the Vipassana, wonderful. Anyone else? Maybe the younger ones. There's over there, 19 years old. When you're on a bus, you look through the window. Oh, statue, Christ of? Okay. You saw the Christ? Statue there? Okay, seeing the statue of the Jesus Christ, you felt extremely calm and peaceful? Wonderful. Okay, any more? Anyone else? Okay. Okay. Say I like to share, of course I'll not share my experience. I was giving a similar talk in one very good place. And there were people from all over the world. And I asked the same question. And I gave chance to 8 people. They all were sharing about their best moment, most beautiful moment, all related to their children. All related to their children. The mothers talking about their sons all the time. And there was one young gentleman, Britisher. What is that? That's very touching. And he became so emotional when he was saying that. What he said was that the most beautiful the time in his life was when he first touched the hand of his 1-day-old daughter. And when he was saying this, he was moving to tears. What made him to become so emotional? What do you think? It's because of love that he's feeling, this love. Okay, who's that girl? Who's that young girl? Just appeared in this world, day one, and somebody starts becoming tearful to even to touch your hand, right? You're so special. You're so special. And who's this little girl? Who's the little boy? Each one of us, don't forget it. Each one of us, don't forget it. There must be, who could be that girl? No. You, when you're born, day when you're born, your mother, there was the biggest day for her. For your dad, this is the biggest day for him. Let's not forget that. Let's never forget this. These stories, believe it or not, today you might have complication with your mom. You might have complication with your dad. But if today is the day you become self-sufficient, you've forgotten that once you were vulnerable. And your parents were there, only your parents were there to know who you are, to see you as the gem of the world. Nobody, to others, you are nobody. But to 2 of them, you are the gem of the world. Let's not forget that. Each one of us, we are that little girl, little boy. Let's not forget it. That is the most beautiful day. In this connection, now I'll share my experience of the moment. I lost my mother when I was 5 years old. I could still well remember, I must be 3 years old, that my mom, today, when I think of my mom, she was just an ordinary housewife in a very remote remote place where there's no facilities at all. Very, very, very remote place. And very simple, nothing there, extremely poor. And this lady, she must be in his late 30s, with my sister, with my brother. And what did she have to do? Nothing to do, just very simple, no complicated mansion to take care of, right? Just a simple, maybe a simple hut, and nothing to clean inside. It's just a small hut was there. Then I remember that she would sit on a huge flat boulder, and they were waiting for the sun. It was in the hill, cold place, waiting for the sun. And then she would cuddle all the 3 children in a lab, and me be the youngest. I have the privilege of being in the center. And she would sing a song. That is so beautiful moment. And then I lost my mother when I was 5. Then in 3 years' time, this young boy, just from this very remote village, then taken to a school, Tibetan school there, and for 3 years, totally disconnected with the lost mother and forgot mother. Suddenly, when I was class 3, after about like 3 years, the Tibetan teacher, language teacher, the interclass competition, interclass song competition. So there was an interclass song competition for which the Tibetan teacher was to teach a Tibetan song to the children, to a class. And he taught this song. The moment he sang this song was a very crude folk song, which my mother used to sing when she was keeping the 3 children in a lab. And she used to sing this song. And believe it or not, this young boy who just had no clue of this mother the last 3 years suddenly became so reminiscent of this mother, and the tears rolling down. This song was not at all beautiful. For example, if you go to the King's College in Cambridge, I had the honor of going there once, King's College Chapel there, the choir is so beautiful. Of course, I'm not a Christian, but just sitting there and then listening to this choir, the choir itself is so beautiful, it will just make you go into tears. It's so, your body, the goosebumps come in the body, so beautiful. But the song which my mother sang was not like this. It was just a very crude song, but to this boy, it brings tears. Why? Because it is reminiscent of the mother's love. That love was the most beautiful mind in this voice. So, from this we can see that the manner in which this gentleman said that the most beautiful time in my life is when I first touch the hand of day 1 old daughter. It's all because of this love. So if you feel this love towards, let's say, the 1 person, you're happy. If you feel the same love towards 10 people, your happiness multiplies 10 times. And if you feel the same love towards infinite beings, infinite joy that you get. This is the meaning of infinite joy, infinite happiness, where you can feel this love towards the infinite beings. Oh, that sounds logical, but the question is, how can we cultivate the infinite love towards others? This is the next question. Okay, so now with this, what we learn is that, okay, that makes sense. To what extent it is doable, but it makes sense that the wisdom, with Albert Einstein's example, it dissolves your fears. With the most refined wisdom, you become totally fearless. This is what everybody seeks. Whether you're a believer, non-believer, male, female, it doesn't matter. It holds true across the world of humanity, number one. Number two, everybody seeks to expand the happiness. Everybody seeks more and more happiness. And the secret of this happiness lies in this unconditional love towards the beings. Okay, the next. How can we cultivate this wisdom? How can we cultivate this unconditional love? These are two questions. Okay, then alongside, we see that with example, yesterday, the example of the laptop versus the flower petals on the plate. The flower petals on the plate, we see that with the wind, it's easily moved, but the laptop is not moved. And we said, because the laptop, there's a gravity there, there's a force there, there's a heaviness there, it's grounded. Whereas the petals, they're so light that it can be blown away very easily. So our mind, while we want to remain at peace, but somebody just says you are stupid, and then you become insane, you become so unhappy, right? And then you see, say the rain, 24 hours rain, then you curse the rain, you feel so upset. Anything around makes you disturbed. You don't, the moment you wake up, you do not say, I'm going to be disturbed today, I'm so excited. You do not say that. But you're easily disturbed. While you don't want it, you feel disturbed because your mind is so light, like these petals. It doesn't have this, it does inertia. So we have to build the inertia. How to build this inertia? Like the Mount Everest. No wind can move it. Likewise, our mind. How to keep it so stable and so steady, not being fluctuated into agitation so easily. One practice. Number two, what makes our mind move easily? Another one is because of the lack of knowledge. No wisdom. When the knowledge is not there, you don't have the solutions. When you don't have the solutions, you become desperate. And the desperation is expressed in the form of anger and agitation. And how it works, I'm going to explain it very quickly here. How the mind, when the knowledge is lacking, then how the mind is smooth, it stirs. Okay. It'll take a little time. Okay, good. Oops. Okay, we did these pictures yesterday. Okay, first what we do is that I'm working on, we talked about the, on the last day, if we do get time, I'll be happy to do a quick review of all these 51 mental factors. And for time being, I'll work on the first set, which is 5 ever-present mental factors. And what are these? I'm going to give a different color. Okay, somehow it is automatically given the color. Can you see that? Can you see? Can you see this? The green color, they're all automatic from the computer. I cannot control it. Okay, do you see that? 5 ever-present mental factors. Now, this is going to be a little technical. Don't feel bored. Okay, it's going to be a little technical. How our mind works. Finally, when you are happy or not happy, right? You are happy, not happy, stressed, not stressed is entirely determined by your own mind. And how does this mind? Okay, you agree with the say. Okay, let's say that you see somebody who you love so much, like your mom, dad, brother, sister, husband, wife, whatever, your child, the moment you see the person, there's a tremendous joy coming in you, particularly after a few weeks, 1 month, 1 year. More the lapse of time, the more the feeling of joy you feel. How many agree with me, Resents? That's obvious. Good. So we see that there's a correlation between what you feel, happiness, and what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you touch. There's a tremendous correlation there. Same cognitive activities of mind and the feelings of your mind and how your mind behaves, known as the affective mind. Cognitive process of your mind, the feelings, and how your mind behaves, behavior of your mind, they're all connected to each other. For some people, when there's a rain, there's tremendous joy there. For some people, there's rain there, the person becomes so gloomy. For some people, it doesn't mind, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what makes the difference? What makes the difference? How many of you would be very unhappy if somebody tells you that you're a stupid girl, you're a stupid boy? Raise your hands, how many of you would be very upset? You raise your hands, be very honest. Don't feel shy. Okay, good. You have forgotten one thing. If this person who said that you're a stupid girl, you're a stupid boy, if that person is 3 years old boy, what would be a response? You will be very happy. Oh, cute. You will know, how dare you say this? If you say, how dare you say like this, you're also a small child. You're also cute. Right? Which means that it depends on other person. If the person is grown up, then you'll be very upset. If it's just 3 years old boy, and it was, I'm not too sure how many of you have actually seen that. There was somebody sent this circular through WhatsApp. There were, I think it was in China. There was one little boy. He must be age 3 or 4, and he was literally so aggressive. Not aggressive to offend others, to defend his grandmother. And somebody said that, pointing to the grandmother, get up from the sitting chair, from the public space. Get up, policeman. And this little boy, age 3 or 4, he went to get an iron bar. He could not even lift it well. And about to hit the policeman. And policeman was, felt so sympathetic, just trying to cool him down, cool this boy. And boy was not ready to give up. Okay, it's so cool. So what I'm saying is that it entirely depends on your perceptions. So from this, we see that it's very complicated how your mind works. Your mind can make you divine. Your mind can make you devil. So what do you do? How to make sure that my mind makes me divine, not devil? You have to know how the mind works. You have to know how the mind works. Don't let the mind dictate on you. You dictate on the mind. If you're able to dictate your mind, the mind will make you divine. If the mind dictates you, you will suffer. Okay, let's not forget it. Yes? Say it again. Huh? Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. So let us first listen. What is meant by dictating your mind? I said that you can dictate your mind only if you know how the mind works. You're getting it? Say, okay, let's say that, okay, water inside, this cold, I want hot water. Then I throw this cold water. This is not being violent. But if I throw a baby out like this, it's violent. So let us not be emotional. You're getting it? When we talk about the realities, same, dictating on the mind. It doesn't mean that the mind feels sad, now he's dictating on me. You're personifying the mind. If you personify the mind, then you can become emotional. You're getting it? Hey, the Mike has his own freedom, human rights, Mike's right. Right? So what I'm saying is that just first, oftentimes there are metaphors. You're getting it? Metaphors to make things clear. We speak metaphorically. Dictate means just manage your mind, as simple as that. Just manage your mind. For that matter, what we need to do is that we need to know how the mind works. If you don't know how the mind works, you cannot manage the mind. If you don't know how the institution works, you cannot manage the institution. For example, many of the people, if there's any the chartered accountant, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you. By the way, is there anybody from chartered accountant, CA? Okay. Say, if you are not competent with your accounts, you can be just thrown to hell by CA very easily. Some of the people, they even don't know how much money they have in their account. Their CA knows everything. Some of the very unruly CAs, unkind, without integrity. What they do is that some of these accounts, they convert it to his or her name. It happens. Yeah. So if you don't know the situation well, particularly when the situation is very complex, if you don't know that, you cannot manage it. And what is the most complicated situation is your mind. Your mind is the most complicated situation. So if you don't know how the mind works, you cannot manage the mind. If you cannot manage the mind, mind will manage you, and you will just go into unending miseries. Okay, so let us listen. How the mind works. Let's listen. Once you know that it's beautiful, it's amazing, then you can be your own therapist. You can be a great therapist for yourself, right? You don't have to be, you don't have to follow this because of this rule, regulation. No, right? Know your mind well, and then accordingly you behave in such a way whereby your mind is under a situation of calmness, cool. And then gradually, okay, some of you might be into more the line of compassion, where you are more into compassion side. When I talk about too much about how to become fearless, your happiness and so forth, but it's supposed to be about Nalanda Buddhism. It should be on compassion, but he's not talking about compassion at all. Okay, for your information, the first, in order to compassion means what? Exporting your happiness to others. To export happiness, you must be rich in happiness. Let's not forget it. Without you being rich in gold, you cannot export gold. Likewise, without you not knowing how you manage your mind and keep it calm and peaceful, there's no way by which you can export the peace and calmness to others. Let's not forget it. So having said this, if you learn how to manage your mind so well, taking care of yourself is the best way by which to take care of others. Taking care of others is the best way by which to take care of yourself. At a certain height of the practice, these two become synonymous. Taking care of yourself and taking care of others, these two become synonymous at a certain point. This is beautiful practice. For the time being, oftentimes the question that comes to me is that the way you teach, if I show compassion towards my friends, they take advantage of me, right? Then who will take care of me? I take care of others, but who's there to take care of me? This question. Where your thinking becomes very sophisticated, where you're able to take care of others in the wisest way, this is the best way to take care of yourself. You become the happiest. What do you mean by take care of yourself? That that you should help yourself to experience as expansive happiness. This is the meaning of taking care of yourself, and that you to feel the fearlessness. And this will be given to you by taking care of in a wise way, taking care of others. And this we will hopefully will discuss in the next one of the 3 remaining sessions. Okay, but first let me go. This is the basic framework that we need to know how the mind works. Once you know that, then things become easy for us. Okay, the mind, for example, how the mind works. Mind is the, thank you. How the mind works. Mind is like a gold. The gold, if say if you put this gold, subject the gold to heat, it'll become flexible. You can make it into any shape. You can make it into the shape of Jesus Christ. You can make it the shape of a demon. It's up to you. It's up to the sculptor, right? You can make it any shape. And your mind, you can give any shape to this mind. You can make your mind the divine, the happiest person, the most fearless person. And you can make this mind the most unhappy person, most angry person. This mind can be given any shape. Okay, if you don't believe, just see that some of you are very good in mathematical calculation, but not good in creativity. Some people are very good in music, but with the computational skills like mathematics and physics is hopeless. Some people, they are so good in administration work where you are physically very active here and there, but the moment you are asked to sit to meditate, you just fall asleep. Some of you are so good in meditation, wow, hours and hours meditating, but given the responsibility of the Vice Chancellor of Goa University, you can just ruin the whole university. Everybody will become independent, right? You don't have a skill in administration. How am I? And some people are good at everything. Some people are bad in everything. How the mind works is very strange. So, some people, if you give time to do the mathematical calculation, if you give time, they can do very good calculations. And they also can do very sophisticated mathematical calculations. But if you ask them to do it within a very short span of time, you'll say, no, I want more time. All of you said it. But some people, they can do things so fast, but they cannot do it in a perfect form. They don't have the perfectionism. So, from this, what do we see? That this is all the matter of your mind. So we have to know how the mind works. How many such functions are there with your mind? How many such functions are there? The mind, the function of the mind to mathematical calculation. The function of the mind for the creativity of physics. For the function of the mind for the music. For the function of the mind to do yoga. For the function of the mind to manage the nation. Function of the mind to manage money, and so forth. How many such functions are there? There are infinite number of functions. Of these things, there are 5 functions which are extremely, extremely important. And I'm going to share this with you. And this is, if you know these five, and then we apply this to the universal compassion. We apply this to the wisdom. You will see that, wow, the secret of my happiness lies here. Okay, first, let me say that you are you fall asleep. You go to bed, and then you usually get up at, like, let's say 7 o'clock. And today your mother comes to your room, just slammed the door, and they said, hey, my daughter, my son, it's just 6 o'clock. And she's holding something in her hand. And it's so odd, it's so odd time that the mother comes to your room. And then, good morning. So you are in a deep sleep, which means that you can't see things so clearly. So what will you do? Okay, so how these things are put here, these 5 are put here, I'm going to rearrange them to explain, to make things easy for you. Number 1, let's say the contact. What here you have, number 4, make it number 1, give it number 1. Just write number 1. So that you'll find it very easy later on, number 1. Number 2 is attention. The last one, number 5, make it number 2, attention. Number 3 is perception. Instead of perception, just make it discrimination. Instead of perception, delete perception and change it to discrimination. And you may be wondering, why? Why should we have to change it? What he did not put it, as discrimination right from the beginning. So this is because the last minute I copied it from somewhere. Instead of perception, make it discrimination. Number 3. Then number 4, instead of sensation, go for feeling. So these are not very good translation. Instead of sensation, delete it and change it to feeling. Feeling. Then finally, intention. Once you learn this, okay, let me say this again. Number one is contact. Number 2, attention, not intention, attention. Number 2. Number 3, discrimination. What is written here as perception, change it to discrimination. Then number 4, feeling. What is written here as sensation, change it to feeling. Number 5, intention. Good. Okay. Once you learn this well, and particularly how the mind works on the basis of these 5 mental factors, mental functions, the homework for you is just whenever you feel happy, whenever you feel unhappy, just see how this happiness or unhappiness is, the process lies in these 5 activities of the mind. Just observe this so well, and once you really become good at it, then you will know how to manage your mind. You become a self-therapist. This is extremely, extremely beneficial. Okay, going back to this example of your mom just slamming opening your door, and then you are deep sleep in a bed, and then you wake up, then your mother tells you, good morning, my daughter, my son, right? And she's holding something in her hand. And this very odd time. So you are in deep sleep. So what do you do? What will you do? Tell me, anybody. What will you do? You're in deep sleep. What will you do? You don't see too clearly what your mother is holding, right? So what will you do? You rub your eyes. Very good. You rub your eyes. Why you are rubbing your eyes? Okay. The first, your eyes came in contact with your mom, your ears came in contact with your mom's said, and your eyes came in contact with what your mom is holding, right? Contact first. With this, you don't see too clearly what is in the mother's hand. So what do? You rub your eyes. Why do you rub your eyes? The lady here? Okay. Yes, here. To wake up, you have to rub your eyes. Yeah. Okay. To pay attention, to pay greater attention, you rub your eyes. Okay, paying greater attention, what will you realize? You discriminate. Discrimination has several connotations. Oftentimes it's a very negative word. discrimination. Gender discrimination, caste discrimination, and so forth, but discrimination per se, it is neutral. Generally, it is neutral. Ability to distinguish things. Ability to distinguish things. Okay, what the mother is holding is brand new iPhone 13 Pro. iPhone 13 Pro, right? This discrimination. Happy birthday to you, my daughter, my son. What happens? What feeling comes to you? Very pleasant feeling comes to you, next feeling. Do you want to have this feeling or you don't want to have this feeling? You want to have this feeling. You want to sustain this feeling. So what brought this feeling? Because of this iPhone 13. Brand new iPhone 13 Pro. Pro is what? Adjective first, so it comes last. Anyone? Pro iPhone 13 or 13 iPhone iPhone 13 Pro? iPhone 13, huh? I know. My question is, this word comes in the first or the end? iPhone 13 Pro. End. Okay, thank you. iPhone 13 Pro. That makes you happy. So, what makes you happy? You want to hold it or you want to throw it? Hold it. Intention to hold it. So the intention. Because the pleasant very feeling and it's coming from the iPhone 13 Pro, you want to sustain this feeling, pleasant feeling, it's coming from there, you will intend to grab at it. So for example, say, okay, just tell me what's going in my mind. What's going in my mind? That you want to drink the water. How do you know that? Because that I'm stretching my hand to the glass. So this, who gives the command? My mind gives the command. You're getting it? So my mind makes this hand to move. Intent to move. Intent to move. This movement. Say, your mind feels agitated. Agitation of mind is the movement of the mind. Your mind does not feel at ease and calm. Your mind moves. That is agitation. Agitation is a movement. And then say that, okay, let's say that the movement, there are two kinds. There are multiple kinds, but generally speaking, say two. One is movement towards the object because you feel a pleasant feeling. So there, the movement is very gentle. This voluntary movement. Another one is where, let's say that somebody said, what the stupid talk, right? What is stupid talk? Then then the unpleasant feeling comes to me. Then I don't want an unpleasant feeling. So what should I do? I want to run away from this unpleasant word. So since I cannot run, so this mind tries to run away. So there's no choice other than to stay here till 5 o'clock. I have to stay here. So, but the mind doesn't want to stay. It wants to run. So there, the movement, involuntary movement is happening. Involuntary movement is happening. This involuntary movement is the stress. That's the stress. And if that is very intense, it can be anxiety. If that is chronic, it can be depressed. It can be depression. So this involuntary movement of the mind. So this movement of the mind. And when we say movement, the fan is moving, the person is moving. Movement, physical movement is there, mental movement also there. And this mental movement, for example, let's say that I reach my hand out to the glass. You could feel that, okay, now his mind is wanting to have the water. So this order, this command is given by my mind to the hand. How many agree with me, sense? Very good. Okay, so this command is given by my mind to the hand to move. So that is a voluntary movement. From this movement in the in the language of the mind, it is intent. Intent. Intent to get this water. Intent to have this happiness. Intent not to have the miseries. So that's movement. Movement of the mind is known as intent, intention. Okay. So now, what happens is that, let's say that, you are having a dream. In a dream, that your mom or dad, daughter Savita's case, your son, daughter Savita, right? Your son took you for a meal in a hotel. Okay, let's say each one of us, in your dream, one of your family members came with a big cheesecake for you. By the way, how many of you like cheesecake? Raise your hands. Wow, with the cheesecake, the hand is really high, rising high. That's amazing. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's say that in your dream, your dad, mom is bringing a cheesecake for you. Happy birthday, my daughter, my son. Yes, how are you happy? Not happy? Very happy. Okay, in your dream, you came in contact with the cheesecake. Then you paid attention to this. You see that it's a cheesecake. Okay, in Singapore, when I give these talks, one time I started to give the example of, earlier I used to give example of chocolates, then I gave the example of change to cheesecake. After giving the cheesecake example, then that very evening, a big cheesecake came to somebody brought a big cheesecake. No, it's not because I like it. I just give the example because I know that many people like it. And how can I eat this cheesecake? It'll make me obese. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that, okay, let's say in your dream, your mom brings you, and you are so happy. Okay, contact, attention, and the discrimination. Oh, it's a cheesecake, fresh cheesecake, discrimination, and a feeling, very pleasant feeling. Intention to have it. The moment you go to have it, a cat jumps over it and topples the cheesecake. What happens to you? You want it or not want it? You don't want it. Unpleasant feeling comes to you. You don't want the unpleasant feeling. Who's responsible? The cat is responsible. You chase the cat. You chase the cat, and the cat is much faster. And you fall. You are in hospital. You like it? And then you are on the verge, you're on the oxygen, and because it's a COVID time, you get COVID in the hospital itself. Right? Okay. And then you end up in ICU. Okay. So, and then you say, oh, now my life is gone, I'm finished. When you say, I'm finished, your mother wakes you up. Are you happy, not happy? Very happy. Very happy that it was all just dream. Okay, so with this, we see that, let's say, the happiness is also the result of the intention of the trying to reach out, trying to get what makes you happy. Unhappiness is the intention to run away from the object which you dislike. This movement, there are two. One which is very appealing and one which is not appealing. The one which is not appealing is known as mental agitation. Appealing is known as happiness. That's it. So happiness, unhappiness is all the state of the mental intention. Mental intention. And this mental intention is decided by anyone? What decides what kind of intention you have? Intention to run away or intention to embrace this object is decided by? Decided by Goa University. Decided by? Decided by? No. Which are the five? Intention here is number 3, right? But I told you number 5. So that is responsible, immediate cause of that is, hey, feeling, right? Because when you are happy, you have the intention to continue to have it. When you're unhappy, when unpleasant feeling is there, you have the intention to run away from this. So this intention, whether to run away, which is stress, to continue to have it, this is happiness. It's decided by the kind of feeling that you have. Whether it's a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling. Tell me what decides the feeling. Whether a pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling decided by? Hey, anyone? Huh? Discrimination. Thank you. Discrimination. So in other words, these three things are very important. And of course, the discrimination is decided by the attention and the contact. You're getting it? The contact, the contact, and the attention. So therefore, oftentimes, what happens is that somebody says that you are, right? You are, and then you have a presupposition that he's unhappy with me. And the person says, you are, in your ear, you heard what? You are unnice. And the person said, you are nice. Right? You say, you can mishear. There are so many times because of our lack of attention. You don't pay attention to things well, and you unnecessarily create problems on yourself. Other person doesn't mean to harm you. And it's your self-creation. And oftentimes, this is what happens to, if you want all these, the problems in other people, you stay in the Tibetan director's office. On my chair, you take charge of the directorship. Then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to say nice things, bad things, anything. You just sit in the chair. You just do meditation. And then the people outside, they cook stories. Oh, he's like this. He did this thing to me, did this thing to that person. And why did he like this? You don't have to do anything. That's amazing. People just cook stories. That's amazing. What's the problem? What's the problem? Because of their attention. They're not paying attention to things so well. When the attention is not there, what information you get? Your own, the information which you cooked up. You just superimpose your own information on somebody else, and then you cook up stories. You superimpose. Okay, so paying attention, this is so important. In other words, in the modern science, there's a tremendous emphasis on, okay, is there anybody from physics, chemistry, biology, neuroscience, or BTech, ITech? Raise hands. Raise hands. One. Okay. In other words, in the modern education, there's a tremendous emphasis on what is known as objectivity. The research that you must be very objective. Objective. What is meant by objective? Pay adequate attention to what you're doing. If you don't pay attention, then you will not get the proper information. Then you become biased. Pay adequate attention. Attention is very important. And finally, what is very, very important is the discrimination. Finally, your feelings determine. Your feelings determine. If you have a pleasant feeling, your mind will intention to embrace this. That is voluntary action. And whereas the unpleasant feelings, it runs away, you cannot run away, then the agitation starts, involuntary action. Agitation starts. That is the stress, mental ill health. Oftentimes, people have, people hear some bad news, tragic news, and they start to have the heart palpitation, very severe heart palpitation. So all these physiological reactions are seen. So these are all connected. Your psychology connected with the physiology. That is how your health is connected. And then if it goes for too long, it can really affect your immune system. And your health can instantly go down. This is very dangerous. So therefore, you can be a self-therapist, but know how the mind works. Okay. 10 minutes pass. So we'll stop here. And one or two questions if you have. Okay, Elroy?
Question of, the five mental factors, are they coming together? Are they coming one after the other?
Okay. So this question, some of you may be wondering, how come that this gentleman came up with this question? There's no way by which it can come to my mind now, right? So there's a secret there. I may not give the answer right now. So basically, this gentleman did this program. This program already from Tibet House, Nalanda diploma course. So he knows all these things. So now he's more eager to learn more depth. So he's asking whether whether they arise simultaneously or sequentially. Answer is simultaneous. And this will, most of you may feel a little confused. He taught them as sequential, but now he's saying simultaneous, right? So this confusion is not a confusion actually. So this is just, within day one is like a crash course. I don't want to confuse you. So the message must be conveyed, that you must be convinced, and how I explained, that will convince you the most. Then the question asked by Elroy, that is more the nuanced aspect of the workings of the mind, nuance. So answer is simultaneous, but don't worry, if you do have question, oh, now I'm confused. If this is your concern, bring this up tomorrow. Okay, more questions? Any more questions? Okay. Okay, yes, Dr. Andaji.
So at what level is contact with contact where tension you have some of it. But to prevent the involuntary at what level of these
5.
five
Should
really
you can do something.
stop it? Because some of it goes
Okay.
really fast.
This is a brilliant question. So the gentleman over there, Mr. Elroy, he's doing this. And Dr. Andaji, she's doing this. This is a different course. This is a 5.5 years course.
I said I asked for everybody.
Yes. This is for 5.5 years course. Okay. And there's a very recent course here. This is for 2 months course. Okay. So those who are interested, I'll leave the flyers here. Feel free to pick them up, just to get information. Okay. So basically, what Dr. Anandaji brought up, this is a very good question. The question is, why we are discussing all these things is how to master yourself, how to become the master of yourself, which means that somewhere you can, with these 5 things, contact, attention, discrimination, feeling, intention. With these 5 mental functions, there must be somewhere where you have the will, you have the authority to change. And then finally, intention is change. Intention is one, intention, the last one, number 5. Here is number 3. This is the one which marks whether you have the agitation or peace of mind. So that is being determined by the feeling. Whether we can change the feeling from unpleasant feeling to the pleasant feeling. Can we change it? So to change this feeling, that is determined by the discrimination. Can we change the discrimination? This is what we are learning. And for discrimination, of course, the attention and the contact. These two are very important. And attention, pay close attention to what you're doing. On that basis, then see if you can change the discrimination. For example, let's say that, okay, simple example that I gave you in the beginning of this class, that you're by yourself, your complaint is, I'm lonely. I'm feeling lonely. When you put it with somebody else, your complaint is that I have no privacy. Right? I have no privacy. Is it true or not? That's true. Absolutely true. This falls under which category? Discrimination. That I come to discover that I have no privacy. This is discrimination. And invariably, the feeling that you get is, I have no privacy. You are happy or not happy? Very unhappy. Oh, I'm not lonely. You're happy, not happy? You're very happy. You're getting it? Change the perception, change the feeling, your attitude, your intention is taken care of. That mental disturbance changes to calmness. Right? So this is what we're going to do tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and the next day, 3 days. 3 days. How to change this discrimination. Okay, we'll stop here for today. Thank you.